But there's only one way to drive prices lower, is to abolish the Federal Reserve, rein in the size of government. Yes, I agree, you can't do it all at once, but it has to start. And you bring back constitutional money, which gold and silver. You abolish legal tender laws. You abolish the income tax. And it won't be plain sailing. It will be painful. But unfortunately, the general public doesn't want pain. Saturday, August 17th, 2024, Maneco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. So I think this past week is a week that will be remembered for a long time. And why is that? Well, I think it's the week that the United States picked the road to dollar destruction. And I'll explain to you why. And so has the UK. The government here is not only kind of losing control of law and order, but it's losing control of its finances. And it's not surprising. The Anglo-American Empire is in deep trouble. And I'm going to tell you a little story from about, 22 years ago. At the time in 2002, I had already started reading up on the Austrian School of Economics, free markets, sound money, gold. I had started buying gold already. And I decided to go to the Mises Institute 20th anniversary conference in Auburn, Alabama. What is the Mises Institute? Well, I would say it's the premier institute for the learning of the principles of the Austrian School of Economics, which are small government, free markets, liberty, sound money. Yeah, everything that stands against socialism and fiat currency. And Ron Paul happened to be there, and he did a speech on the last day at lunch. But prior to that, we had loads of lectures that you could attend, different people, authors talking about the Austrian School of Economics and its philosophy. And I went to one of the lectures, and Ron Paul was there as well. He wasn't conducting the lecture, but at the end of the lecture, I went up to him, had a chat with him, and asked him about the incident he had with Alan Greenspan in Congress. And it wasn't really a controversial incident. And of course, Ron Paul was in the Monetary Affairs Committee, I think it's called, in the House. So he used to question Greenspan twice a year. But he told me the story that one time he took Alan Greenspan's essay that he wrote back in the late 60s entitled Gold and Economic Freedom, and he asked Alan Greenspan to autograph it, and Alan Greenspan did. And Ron Paul asked him, do you still believe in everything you said there in that essay? And don't forget, at the time, he was chairman of the Federal Reserve. And Greenspan said, yes, I still believe 100% in what I said. But the American people, they keep voting for inflation. And this is what happened this week. And why do I say that? Some people might be saying, well, yeah, Kamala Harris, she's the socialist. She's going to continue the inflation. And I agree. But I listened to also candidate Trump's new economic program. And it's not any different. I thought I was listening to FDR talking about a new deal. And you know what happened to the dollar under FDR. It was devalued versus gold from $20.67 an ounce to 35. So America left the gold standard domestically under FDR. And you might be saying, well, Trump is not a socialist. He's a free market guy. Well, listen to this. I got this clip here from David Stockman, who was an advisor to Ronald Reagan, actually. He was involved in the budget, I think, part of the Reagan administration. And this is what he said about Trump's freedom cities, right? And his project to make America great again. This is utterly absurd. Big government on super steroids. For crying out loud, Donald, Uncle Sam is dead broke. And you did your part and then some, adding $8 trillion to the public debt in 4 years. More than the first 43 presidents combined during the first 216 years of the Republic. And now you have the nerve to get behind this dumb as hell idea. So I'll play part of this speech that Donald Trump made. I think it was in New Jersey at his golf club there. And here you go.
I will ask Congress to support baby bonuses for young parents to help launch a new baby boom.
So there you go. How does Congress, why is Congress getting involved? Well, because there's going to be billions or if not trillions of spending to help baby bonuses. Well, it's weird because Kamala Harris has the same kind of policy, very similar. So this guy here in Mario Nafal, he posted, Kamala proposes 1.7 trillion economic plan. Well, where's that 1.7 trillion going to come from? Well, more deficit spending. And like David Stockman said, we're already at almost 35.2 trillion in debt. We're at almost 123% debt to GDP. So let's look at Kamala's economic policy. The plan includes $25,000 for first-time homeowners, $6,000 in tax breaks for families with newborns, and measures to control grocery prices to prevent unfair price hikes. I'm going to stop here. You can read the rest if you want from of this tweet. So there's a couple things I want to say here. The UK tried this help to buy for first-time buyers under the conservative government of David Cameron and George Osborne, who was the Chancellor of the Exchequer. And all it did was put a rocket up house prices. So this is going to have the opposite effect, of course. Anything governments and politicians promise economically, 99.9% of the time has the opposite effect that they envisage. The other point I wanted to make about Kamala Harris is, and also President Trump, I haven't heard them ever talk about the Federal Reserve and the fact that the Federal Reserve is actually one of the big problems. Well, it is the ultimate driver of inflation, the ultimate reason why the general public, the 90%, is feeling the pinch and can't afford the cost of living anymore. And I haven't heard any of them say, well, we're going to abolish the Federal Reserve. We're going to bring back sound money. We're going to rein in government spending gradually. Yes, we're not going to cut off the elderly abruptly with the Social Security. And that's something even Ron Paul said, it has to be done gradually. But I don't see any of these two candidates talking about that. All they're talking about is more government interference. They think that government can bring down prices, but it's been the government with the Fed and heavy deficit, big deficit spending since 2008 and 9 that has created the problems. And as for governments imposing price controls, well, it's been tried many times. It was tried during in revolutionary France, the law of maximum, and yes, they had really harsh punishment for farmers and merchants that didn't keep their prices below the government imposed limits. And yes, the punishment was guillotine, right? And all it did was it created more and more shortages because, as you should know by now, it's not greedy corporations or farmers or whoever that create inflation. It's the greedy government and the central bank that debase the currency. And by limiting the price of rentals or food, groceries, all you do is you disincentivize the producers because the prices won't cover their costs, won't let them make a profit, because you have to make a profit to be in business. And all that does is they stop producing, there's more shortage, higher prices. So that's for Kamala. And it's not just Democrats that do this. It's not. Richard Nixon tried it when he detached the currency from gold 53 years and 2 days ago. And isn't it interesting that gold or the dollar dropped to a new low versus gold the day after August 15th? And we're going to talk about gold in a minute. So yes, the new dollar. Nixon, as part of this announcement of closing the gold window or detaching the dollar from gold temporarily, and it's been temporary ever since. He also instituted wage price freeze. He instituted, yes, all kinds of price controls because he thought he could control inflation as well. So it's not just a socialist. And President Trump also talks about that he's going to drive prices lower. But there's only one way to drive prices lower is to abolish the Federal Reserve, rein in the size of government. Yes, I agree, you can't do it all at once, but it has to start. And you bring back constitutional money, which gold and silver. You abolish legal tender laws. You abolish the income tax. And it won't be plain sailing. It will be painful. But unfortunately, the general public doesn't want pain. And that's why I think this past week is just confirming that we're going to continue to see the inflation. Will it lead to hyperinflation? Difficult to say, but it's going to lead to a lot higher gold prices, silver prices, commodity prices. And all that means is that the dollar, the currency that in your pocket, is going to buy a lot less. And this is supposed to help the general public. And it's going to have the complete inverse effect. It's not going to help him at all. It might give him a boost temporarily with all these programs, but the people who are going to benefit are still the people at the top because they have all the assets to protect themselves. And hopefully you will have been protecting yourself by moving away from fiat currency, from the fiat dollar and the fiat pound, if you're here in the UK, into gold and silver. And it's going to get worse, unfortunately. I know for those of us who have protected themselves financially, it's not even guaranteed things are going to be, there's going to be smooth sailing, but it will be easier for you to survive, I think. And a lot of people ask me how much gold and silver should I have? Well, I don't know your circumstances. It's like akin to asking how much money should I save? And that's how you have to look at it. So I've always said that, not always, because back in the day when I started buying gold in '02, I could see the manipulation. I used to get very frustrated. My wife as well, she used to say, how come, gold doesn't go up? And I said, well, you need to have patience. And I guess over the years, I've become immune to all the negative talk about gold by the mainstream economists, by Wall Street. And what I've found is that you need to maintain an even keel. You need to be calm when they bash gold, and you need to be calm when gold is doing well like it is now. Unfortunately, just confirms what I've been through my studies and looking at history, what's happened before. It's doing what it usually says on the tin. If you want to help the channel as well, and you're looking to add on to your gold and silver stack, or if you're looking to do it for the first time, consider using my affiliates. In the US, I'm affiliated with Andy Schechtman and Miles Franklin, and in the UK with Oliver and Simon Temple at Gold Investments. And I vouch for them because they've been in business for like over 30 years, both of them, both companies. And I used to deal with Oliver and Simon Temple's dad. And I'm seeing a lot of new gold companies popping up when I look on Instagram. A lot of adverts, companies I'd never heard of, pushing gold, saying, nothing bad about gold, but be careful. There's a lot of new companies popping up. And I think the important thing about buying gold is trusting the counterparty. It's not rocket science either, buying gold. You just have to start doing it and learning about it. You can also talk to Oliver and Simon here in the UK. They'll give you the rundown on which are the best coins to buy in the UK, gold and silver coins. Same thing with Miles Franklin in the US. So all the details are below in the description of this video of how to get in touch with them. So that's what I think gold is pointing to and has been pointing to since February, when we broke out of that 2100 level. And yes, it's slow. We've had like a consolidation near the top from April, just above 2400 since April, and it's finally popped up above that level. Yesterday we broke the all-time high at 2483, and here I'm talking about the spot price. I noticed yesterday, I was watching the gold price in the afternoon London time up until fairly late in the day London time. Gold tried to break through that 2500, and I was looking at my IG spread betting page, and they quote spot gold, and you can trade the spot gold, and it's linked, of course, these prices to the interbank foreign exchange market. And I noticed every time it got near 2500 or 24.99, it came back down. You could tell, and I worked in the markets for over 20 years, you could tell there was someone there that didn't want that price to pop above 2500, but eventually they couldn't keep it down, and we closed at 2507. I also noticed that most of the day silver was actually doing nothing, and I think that's part of the scheme as well. If gold is doing really well, they'll kind of keep silver down to try to bring gold down, but they didn't succeed either, and silver also traded up quite nicely. I think we closed just around 29. And I think I've seen articles in the mainstream on Bloomberg saying that the high price of gold is going to discourage more buying. I think, I'm sorry to say it, I think they're full of you know what, BS. And why is that? Well, because if you look at during the Great Depression, and I'm reading this book here, a diary of Benjamin Roth about the Great Depression, when government starts spending, when government devalues the currency, there will be a rush for gold. It's just starting. People are not, it's got nothing to do with the price. It's to do with the fact that they're going to want to protect the value of their savings. And you can only do that through gold and silver as well, even though silver is a lot more volatile. And here in the UK as well, the red ink is going to keep coming as well. The new chancellor of the exchequer said, well, the previous government left a big hole in the public finances, 20 billion. And we're getting data that the economy is doing fairly well. So why that big hole, right? But the worst thing they've done, though, is the way they've dealt with the unions. They've given, for example, junior doctors in the National Health Service a 22% pay rise over 2 years. And they've given, I think, some train drivers 15% over 2 years. And now we're seeing strikes starting popping up because these public sector workers, these unions are seeing, well, if we threaten them with strikes, they're going to back down. And well, that's the red ink here in the UK. And the part of the economy that suffers is the private sector. And the same thing is going to happen in the US. Unfortunately, to win votes these days, you have to promise people a lot of stuff. And it seems to me that both sides of the presidential contest in the US are promising the world. And all that means is that the currency or the fiat dollar in your pocket is going to continue to shrink. And that will reverberate throughout the world because America still leads the world. And if America is inflating, the rest of the world is going to inflate. And that's why gold is making new all-time highs, not just against the dollar, but against all the other major currencies. And with that, I'm going to stop here and wish you all a very good weekend. Take care. Bye.